can't believe what I just discovered. There's a god in Greek mythology you've probably never heard of. A god so dangerous, he was literally erased from history by his own family. Meet Menoetius, the forgotten twin of Zeus and the god of wrath, reckless pride, and ruin. Yes, Zeus, the mighty king of gods, had a twin. But unlike his famous brother, Menoetius' story is shrouded in shadow. Let's dive into this hidden tale from the depths of ancient mythology. First, let's set the stage. Greek mythology is littered with stories of gods, heroes, and monsters. From the all-powerful Zeus to the cunning Athena to creatures like Medusa, these myths shaped ancient beliefs and even resonate with us today. But what about the tales that were intentionally buried? What about the figures who were too controversial, too chaotic, or too dangerous to remember? That's where things get interesting. Menoetius' name might ring a faint bell to those who've combed through Hesiod's Theogony or Works and Days. But even there, he gets barely a mention. Hesiod describes Menoetius as a titan, the second generation of primordial beings who existed before the Olympians. According to the myth, Menoetius was the son of Iapetus and Clymene, making him the brother of Atlas, Prometheus, and Epimetheus. Now, each of these siblings plays a major role in myths. Atlas holds up the sky, Prometheus tricks the gods to benefit humanity, and Epimetheus, well, he's infamous for not thinking things through. But Menoetius, where does he fit in? Brace yourselves, it gets dark. The name Menoetius translates roughly to doomed might or ruinous strength. He personifies hubris, that dangerous cocktail of arrogance and defiance that the gods were constantly warning humans about. In many ways, Menoetius wasn't just a person. He was a cautionary tale. But here's the twist. His hubris wasn't aimed at humanity. It was aimed at Zeus himself. The story goes that Menoetius was furious when Zeus took over as king of the universe following the Titanomachy, the cataclysmic war between the Titans and the Olympians. Unlike his brothers Atlas and Prometheus, who found purpose in their punishment or rebellion, Menoetius was consumed by his rage. Some sources even suggest that he viewed himself as the true heir to the cosmic throne, equal, if not superior, to Zeus. This claim of equivalency didn't sit well with Zeus at all. Imagine trying to challenge a god whose weapon is a thunderbolt when your specialty is being really, really angry. According to myth, Menoetius disrupted the peace of the newly established Olympian order. He sought to undermine the gods, fuel disputes, and challenge Zeus outright to battle, a move that would seal his fate. Zeus retaliated with swift and devastating force. In one account, he struck Menoetius down with a thunderbolt, obliterating him so thoroughly that his physical form was said to be cast into Tartarus, the deepest abyss of the underworld. But here's where things get puzzling. Unlike Prometheus, whose eternal punishment by Zeus is recounted everywhere, or Atlas, who carries the sky on his shoulders, Menoetius seems to disappear completely. It's almost as if Zeus didn't just defeat him, he erased him from memory. But why? Why would Zeus go so far as to delete Menoetius from the mythological narrative? One theory posits that this wasn't just about punishing Menoetius, it was about eliminating the idea of him entirely. Zeus's rule was bound to the principle of order, cosmic harmony, the balance of powers among gods, and the enforced hierarchy between gods and mortals. Menoetius, a symbol of unchecked pride and rebellion, was a direct threat to that order. Intriguingly, Menoetius' absence in many myths could also reflect the evolution of Greek mythology itself. Remember, these stories weren't static. They evolved as centuries passed, shaped by oral tradition, political shifts, and changing social values. In the early Titan myths, the themes were primal: creation, chaos, raw power. But once the Olympian myths dominated, the narratives became more structured, more focused on human-like drama between gods and mortals. Menoetius embodied the raw, dangerous energy of the Titans, a relic that simply didn't fit into the clean, orderly world of the Olympians. And here's the kicker. Some myths suggest that Menoetius didn't entirely vanish. Echoes of his wrath and rebellion survived in the underworld. Certain Orphic mysteries, esoteric cult traditions, hint at Menoetius as a secret figure who aided restless spirits or incited chaos among the dead. Whoa, right? Could it be that Zeus didn't obliterate Menoetius completely, but merely contained him, like a spiritual Pandora's box that no one dared to open? Another fascinating layer comes from connections between Menoetius and global mythologies. In Hindu mythology, there's the concept of an asura, a demon or anti-god, whose arrogance and defiance often lead to their downfall. The asura and Menoetius share thematic parallels, reminding us how deeply connected world mythologies are, even across vast cultural divides. Could Menoetius represent a universal archetype, the angry, defiant being whose pride dooms them and yet leaves us captivated by their sheer intensity? And what does it mean for us, now? Menoetius's tale, or lack thereof in some cases, raises fascinating questions about history, memory, and control. Whose stories do we hear, and whose are silenced? The myths that survive shape our understanding of the ancient world, but they're only part of the picture. What other mythological Menoetiuses are out there, waiting to be rediscovered? Here's some food for thought. Zeus's attempt to erase Menoetius makes Menoetius all the more compelling. It's the ultimate irony. In trying to obliterate his twin's legacy, Zeus may have made it an eternal enigma, a myth within a myth. To those who look closely, Menoetius' defiance becomes an unintentional marker of Zeus's own insecurity, his inability to control every narrative. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The god who personified control losing control over the story itself. So the next time someone brings up Greek mythology, throw Menoetius into the conversation. Revel in their bewildered faces, and drop the mic when you explain how this hidden god encapsulates the chaos and complexity of a mythological world rarely discussed. If nothing else, Menoetius reminds us that even gods, even Zeus, can't completely write their own endings. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about Zeus's forgotten twin? Could this god of wrath and ruin have had an impact beyond the myths we know? And should we consider the erased figures of mythology as just as important as those we never forget?